Welcome back to another evening of Scotch Hour. I am Noah.
And I'm Jesse.
All right. Well, this is episode 103.
Oh, my God. That's right.
We are actually one episode away from our second year anniversary. And I do apologize. This is probably not coming out on time. I am backlogged but I've given you guys my excuses and I am working through those. All right. So this evening's Scotch Hour here, we are going to be reviewing Ardbeg Corryvreckan or Reckon.
I'm going to say Corryvreckan.
Okay.
Because I just like to turn my tongue that way. Corryvreckan.
I bet you she likes that too.
No complaints yet.
All right. And then from there, we're going to have our shout outs and get it togethers. This evening, we went to Reed's Tavern. So we'll be reviewing that fine pub. Actually, since they are Nebraska, it's a Nebraska pub. I can't really be a fan of theirs. And then we got the Smarter Challenge, which is a movie review of Antman and Wasp, the Quantomania. And before we dive into the Scotch here, if you do like our show here, our podcast, please like, share, and subscribe, and leave comments down below. We love to hear from all of you. And if you have anything that you want to give us pointers on, we'll listen to that. If there's anything you like, we definitely would love hearing about that. And if you just want to converse with us through the comment section, we are more than happy to respond to you as well. Anything else you want to add to the leaving comments section or any of that?
No, just any of you new viewers. Thank you so much. And as Noah has mentioned, please do leave us comments. Feedback will be taken. We've gone to our point scoring system, which I'm actually really enjoying. There have been some dynamically different scores and some fantastic learning experiences with that, as far as, did you know a score could get as low as a 70 on a Scotch Hour? Well, it did last week. So with that, please continue to leave feedback and we will take it.
Scotch Review.
The Ardbeg Corryvreckan. And as Noah mentioned, the ladies do like to come when we speak that tongue. This is an Islay single malt Scotch, and it is not for the meek. 57.1% ABV.
With that special water source?
With that special water source. You can't forget it. Non-chill filtered. We have had some great, outstanding experiences with the Ardbeg. And so, really just one not so great experience with Ardbeg. So we actually reviewed the Ardbeg 10 on episode 1 nearly 2 years ago right now. And then 3 weeks later, the Ardbeg 10 was so great, we decided to take a risk and go after the Ardbeg Beastie and a review of Young Frankenstein. Well, the Young Frankenstein review was fantastic. The Wee Beastie, not so much. Then jump forward literally a year plus later, and in episode 63. So 40 episodes ago, we reviewed Ardbeg and OA. And man, that episode was about movies that define summertime. That was dynamite. So I can only imagine this little beastie, not the wee beastie, but this little beastie is going to be outstanding as well. For any of you who haven't seen our show before and don't know a ton, we'll give you just a quick review. Islay is a little island off the coast of Scotland where some of our favorite Scotches do come from. Those include Ardbeg and Lagavulin, just above the Isle of Isla is the Isle of Jura, where there is another Scotch house. There's one hotel and one store and one distillery. That is the distillery of Jura on the Isle of Jura. And then just north of that is the Corryvreckan, the second most dangerous whirlpool in all our world's waters. That kind of a great story, exciting, fun. With that, it is named after the Viking prince Droken, who is said to have met his watery end at that location. So with that, any other pieces you want to add about the Scotch or some of their tours?
You went up to as far as the Ardbeg Oa, right? Oa. But we did a couple more after that.
Oh, that's right. I forgot the Punked.
Yeah, and I was looking for what episode we did the Punked on.
And the
Ugadal. Ugadal was episode 87.
There you go.
And so that must mean that the Punked had to be before that.
I don't know that it was. It might have been after.
Was it? Any case, we did also do the Punked, which is the that one right there. It's a white bottle. It's a white box. Any case, so tours. Here with the Ardbeg here, the tours, they do have a few tours here during the winter time, which goes into March. They have what's called the Tour and Taste, which is $14.50. They have Dram, I guess I think it's called Dram Good, which is $78. $78.
Sounds dram good to me.
Yeah, right. And oops, I'm pulling it up here just to make sure I got that name right. It is actually a Dram Good Tasting, so I didn't quite write it fully out. And then the next one here is they have the Core Range Tour and Tasting, which is $30 US, and they also have what's called a Rocktails. Basically, it's cocktails, and it's $6 for that. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this particular Scotch here because the Ugadal that we had in episode 87, that was excellent. That was like one of the better Ardbegs I've had on this that I've ever had from them. So I'm excited.
It wasn't just one of the better ones from them. It was just a damn good Scotch. So you're 100% right. It was before. It's episode 69 for the Ardbeg
69, dude.
Hardcore. And I don't know how we forgot that because we were out by the fire pit taking pictures.
Was it snowing?
It wasn't at that time, actually. It was pretty nice out. The sun was setting. There was an actual sunset. But the Ardcore, yes, and that's why I didn't pop on my list. I searched.
So that's why it's called Ardcore, not Punk. Right?
Exactly.
Okay,
and so when I look for it, I'm like, what the hell? Okay.
All right.
But yeah, so Ardbeg 10, Ardbeg WBC. You're 100% right. Beyond that, Ardbeg OA, the Ardbeg Ardcore, and then the Ardbeg Ugadal. So this is the 6th.
Okay, what other distillery have we tried that many?
There have been.
Is it Glenmorangie the only other one that's been that many? Or I think Dalmore might be close.
I actually think Glenmorangie is the only other one.
Okay. Because that's quite a bit.
That's... the Dalmore, I think we have had 5 because we've got the Cigar Malt, the 15, the 14, the King Alexander III, and the 12, but that leaves us one shy.
Okay, and I think McAllen's got to be close with 5 too, right? Because we did
the 12 Sherry, the 12 regular, the 12 triple, the Macallan. See, that's it.
The edition number 6, but then we also did the Cocoa.
Cocoa, yeah. So it's sitting at 5 as well.
And Glenfiddich, we only did 3 of them, right?
Yep.
How about Lagavulin?
Dude, with Lagavulin, I think we're only up to, dude, that's tricky because we've had the 11, the 12, the 9 if you include the Game of Thrones, the 8, and that's where it sits though. All these others are sitting at 5.
Did we do the Distiller's Edition for them?
Not yet.
Okay. And Talisker?
Talisker we've only done 4 as well.
Oban, we did at least 5, right?
We've got the Oban 18, the Distillers, the Little Bay, the 14, the Game of Thrones. Oh, wait a minute. That's the other one at 6, the Oban 10, 2022 special release.
Oh,
So this is the second one at 6 whiskeys.
Okay. But Glenfiddich definitely, or Glenmorangie definitely has the lead though, right? Because we got...
Oh, Glenmorangie, yeah, by far.
Because we have the 18.
We're going to say they just have the best water source.
Winter. Yeah, like that
10,
one.
12, 14, 15.
Yeah.
The list goes on. The 18. Yeah, they're still leading the pack.
That's weird. I enjoy all of Glenmorangies too.
I have not had a problem with any of the Glenmorangies or the Obans or the Lagavulins. I know you didn't care for the 2021 special release of the 11-year with Lagavulin.
No, I like the Lagavulin special. Isn't it the 12-year?
The 12-year special release, yes. But some fantastic scotches all around.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to get us totally sidetracked talking about all the ones that we tried. It just seems like a lot. I didn't really think we tried that many from Ardbeg.
Yeah, time flies though. This is the 100. Now, we've had multiple shows with flights on them, so we're probably at 110 scotches, but it's the 103rd episode, one shy of hitting the 2-year mark, and that is a lot of scotch. That is quite a reason to celebrate next week.
It is. All right. I guess. Oh, did we say what the ABV is on this?
Yeah. So if we didn't, I think it might have been mentioned, but if it wasn't, 57.1, not for the faint of heart. This is going to knock some socks off, particularly mine.
How what do you have to have for it to be considered cask strength?
This is, I'm sure, a cask strength.
Okay.
Typically, anything right around the 60 to 65% mark is cask strength. Now, that depends on how much they've had to add water based on its maturity, how old it is. So as casks and scotch or whiskeys of any sort age, depending on elevation and humidity, the angel will take its share, so to speak. So water does evaporate. Alcohol also escapes at minute levels. But with that, to keep it full and safe, they add water, pure water, back into the casks. And I would imagine this is what we would consider a cask strength, or as close as we need to be to it.
All right. Hopefully it doesn't burn like heavy alcohol. I don't think it will though.
No, we BC is the only one where we were like, we know, not KNOW, if you know what I mean. KNOW.
We know.
All right. So we do like to talk about this. I will say, of the boxes and presentation, even though it seems very simple, this is a high quality box. I appreciate that. Lately, the Lagavulin and some of the others have seen a little less structured, like they're trying to save a couple pennies on paper. Hey, I understand save a tree, but everyone's using paper bags anyway. So make a nice quality box so they don't have to throw it away and they can reuse it like their paper bags. With that though, we get to the bottle. Ardbeg, even with the wee BC, I don't know that Ardbeg has ever disappointed us with the bottle. And this one, once again, their signature standard dark green bottle. Love the label. The ultimate Islay single malt Scotch whiskey, Corryvreckan, 57.1% ABV. This is a handsome bottle.
I just love their presentation of their box. All their boxes, except for probably the Ardcord one, which seems kind of like a fun and a punky type of way. But all the other ones throughout the line, they are all. I love the green with the gold and kind of like the Gaelic type of lettering, or that with it. I really do enjoy their presentation.
I do as well, and I also enjoy the shape, the general shape of the bottle. So a little bit wider at the base, a little bit slims down. It's like a lady. You want slightly wider hips, a narrower waist. Well, you still want a bust on it, all right? And then a good head.
All right. And does it seem like a good quality bottle, like glass, the glass itself?
The glass itself is typical Ardbeg. No complaints there. And I do appreciate that they even put it in a box, because more and more distilleries are going away from that. And that's fine if they expect you to drink it quickly. Otherwise, that's what protects it from the light, which helps age it. So next we get to the foil. Well, Ardbeg for a while now has not used a typical metallic foil. They do go with plastic. And I've never loved the plastic, but I don't have a complaint, as you mentioned, about the symbolism and the decor on that label.
The other thing I noticed on the bottle, right? It has, I think it has, does it have Ardbeg embossed on there, or
it's established 1815 that they have made sure is very prevalent in the glass. So with this, love the topper as far as it is engraved. They do go plastic on us, though.
That's kind of a bummer, though.
It is. More and more, I'm starting to understand that, but at the same time, I agree with you, especially when you're talking about you spent easily $100 on this bottle, well over $100 on this bottle. Give us some wood.
She wants the wood.
He wants the wood, all right? Like, give us some wood. With that, though, man, let's test it out. Every walrus loves a tight seal. Magic. And I think there is some art and craftsmanship to making a bottle that will sound off, if you will, when you both pop the cork and pour the whiskey. Little cork.
All right, I believe it is now time for us to cheer and go into our warp speed to do our tasting.
All right, tasting time. Cheers.
The Ardbeg Corryvreckan. I think it really holds true to its to the name there, its namesake of a whirlpool. I believe when you read the description earlier, you talked about how the flavors swirl around, kind of like the whirlpool. Or if you didn't read it, it's definitely on the bottle or on the website.
You mentioned it.
Or maybe I mentioned it. But in any case, I think that really holds true here with this bottle. And when I... looking at the color here, as we know, so that way I can keep consistent. If it's light, like a straw color, I'll give it a 1. If it's a dark amber, I'll give it a 5. This one I gave a 4. I put it in here that it is a light amber to light copper color. It could be a 3. Maybe like a 3.5 might have been more accurate, but I rounded it up to a 4.
I don't blame you.
Packaging is important, and I honestly believe Ardbeg nails it with most of their bottles, and they nailed it here. And so I'm giving it a 5 out of 5.
Nice.
Now I guess I already jumped into the presentation and the color being a 4 and a 5. I'm going to pause right there because I really should give you my tasting notes here on this before I give you my point scale.
You're all good. Man.
So the color, once again, I gave it a light amber to light copper. On the aroma, I get some buttery notes with peat, brine, some pine, oak, and peppercorn. And there are some hints of dark berries as well, being blueberry and some blackberry and some cherries. Now the palate, when I first drink the palate, I get a creamy, chewy It's creamy. It's a little bit chewy, and I get dark chocolate with espresso, blueberry, blackberry, and vanilla. So I really dig this palette. So the nose is super complex. It's very inviting. And then the palette has some nice flavor there. Now the finish, here, I put here tar with black pepper, menthol, and oak. And the peppercorn flavor kind of lasts and lingers there with you. And true to its namesake, the Whirlpool here, these flavors, it's not like you taste these flavors on each sip. It like varies from sip to sip on which ones decides to poke their heads up and for you to taste. Which it makes it kind of exciting to drink this because you're not exactly sure from sip to sip what you're going to exactly get. Sometimes it's a little bit more berry and chocolate. Sometimes it's a little bit more spicy and tarry. And I really dig this. I like it a lot. So on the aroma, I gave it 28 out of 30 points. I really do like the nose on this. The palate, I gave it 27 out of 30. And the finish, 25 out of 30. Because once again, as we discovered, I'm not a super huge fan of spicy things.
On the finish.
And that gave me a grand total of 89 points, which I think is actually pretty good. Because if the spice wasn't there, it would have bumped it up 2 more points, and it would have been a 91. Or if the spice would have been just a tad bit more mellow and didn't spike every once in a while, it would have been that 91. But because of that spike, there's been out of the 4 sips I've had, I had 3 that were decent, 1 that was kind of super spicy, and then I took a 5th sip, so I actually took 5, and so I should really say this.
I used all 5 fingers
because of math. I can't count. I actually have 5 sips. 2 of them were spicy, 3 of them were good, and but my point is
average it out.
Overall,
89.
So yes, bottom line, 89. Highly recommend it. Would I take it to a poker game? Yes, I would take it to a poker game. But I would take it only to a poker game where people would appreciate Scotch. Would I take it to a nice gathering or hanging out with a good friend? Yes, I would take it to one of those places. Would I take it to a black tie affair? Here, I kind of struggle because I think the presentation is worthy for a black tie affair. I think the flavor, I'll just say this. Bottom line, I would take it to a black tie affair.
Fuck yeah.
I would lie if I said I wouldn't, because I do think it would hold up. Is it one of the ones that I would hoard?
The pepper always going to throw you off.
The pepper does throw me off because I would definitely hoard the Ugadal.
The Ugadal was next level.
And I think the reason why I like the Ugadal maybe just slightly bit more than this one is because it didn't have that spiciness. Here's the thing. I could see myself hoarding this one, but I could also see myself sharing this one. So I'm not really sure where I fall on the line there, but I definitely would walk the line on sharing or hoarding this. So overall, it's $109, I believe, before tax when we went to Total Wine and Spirits. I do highly recommend this, and I would say that you should purchase this one for your collection, just because of how complex and how great it is, really. Jesse, what's your take?
All right. First thing I want to say is I think we're starting to find our niche in this scoring system, because this by far, and we know we have varied tastes, I think this one is the one where we do and will truly speak so similarly about it, and our points are so close. So first of all, for me, presentation, man, I also dig this presentation. For me, the only reason it's only getting a 4 out of 5 is because a 5 out of 5 is like the next level. And this could have gone either way. because the box is sound. It's not some flimsy paper box. The bottle is dynamite. The one ding up top is I actually like a metal foil, and I do like a wooden top. But other than that, there's only a few boxes out there that beat this. And that's where you get really tricky, is because you're paying for them, right? You're talking about the Macallan, the Reserves, or the Ardbeg 25-year, or the Highland Park 17-year, where it comes in these wooden structures, and it's the next level. So if we ever got to a point where we give extra credit for something, that would be a different story. But because we're not there yet, this is a 4 out of 5, which is a solid damn number. For me, I went the other way on the color. I think this is a dark gold. I agree with you. It's a little bit lighter, though, than a 4 for me. So the color only gets a 3 out of 5 on the color. So we're super close, though, on both these. 1 point varying so far. And I think that continues pretty much throughout. For me, oh, on the nose, it is good. It is good. I get, and this is interesting because we were literally just talking about the Macallan cocoa. I get chocolate. I get cherry. I get pine. I get the brine. And then mild. And it is super mild. Hints of vanilla and clove and blueberries. And then it's a tough one because I don't know that it's easy to associate this with alcohol without disassociating it with taste, in that is menthol. On the palate, immediately chocolate, cherries, dark cherries, by the way, and a little bit of seaweed. That brine flavor is coming through. Espresso, I do get some cocoa, and I love it. Before I get to the finish, there's the hints of the blackberries and clove. On the finish, though, the finish is long. Also love that. However, much like you mentioned, you've got the black pepper, the coffee, and the chocolate revisited. Oh, the chocolate. The chocolate is on the palate, the win, and that is the longest part. It literally goes into the finish, which then finishes into that revisit of black pepper, almonds, and this is where it's a tie for me because it's both almond and oak, but I think it's more nutty almond flavored than oak. As we get to the points, dude, we were so close on this one. We have never been this close on a point scale. So 4 for presentation, 3 for color. On the nose for me, just barely below yours. I gave it a 26 on the palate. I believe this is just slightly higher, a 28. And for me, a finish, I don't mind the pepper as much as you do, a 27. You gave it an 89. I'm giving it an 88. This is a solid damn 88, by the way, though. Especially when you think of, we're not comparing ourselves to everyone else that's rating, because the people rating a Dalmore 15 and a Dalmore 18 aren't including the packaging or the presentation. We are, because we're talking about total value here. And so for me, if I'm walking into a poker night, if it's worth bringing this, hell yes, I am bringing this scotch into a poker night for anyone that I value enough to enjoy it. And I mean that in both sides. If a woman can enjoy a great dram of scotch, bring this to your fireside fun evening. If your friends can enjoy it during cards, absolutely. I'm bringing this to the billiards if I can. And I'm playing pool drinking this because it is just spicy enough. I'm actually really enjoying, much like the Lagavulin 12, the spice in here. I'm loving it. So yes, absolutely 100% to a poker night. Would I share it with friends? Most of my friends drink scotch, and therefore in this instance, yes, anyone who can appreciate a very complex dram of scotch is going to love this. So yes, I would. Black tie event. I agree with you. This is where it gets a little tricky, because it is a situation where the only thing that holds it back is that it's not light and outstanding. You want one of those white bottles or white boxes for a black tie event. This doesn't shine the same way, but flavor wise it will. But with the black tie event, typically you're not like, hey guys, I know we're here for John's wedding, but we're going to come over in this corner, forget that there's women and our parents and all these people here, and have a fantastic dram of scotch, and then just go back to our rooms forgetting that they're here because we finished the bottle. But otherwise, yes. Is it taste worthy for a black tie event? That's where the presentation kind of comes in again. It gets a little tricky for connoisseurs. Yes, bring it. And then finally, do I covet this? Do I love it? Do I make sure I have an extra bottle on my shelf? The price point is striking. Talking about average liquor store selling it for $130. You got a little bit of a deal. So you're talking about roughly 110, 120 plus tax. And with that, yeah, I'm going to savor a bottle of this to decant at some point in time and enjoy further on. So I do suggest it as well. Dynamite.
It's time for our shout outs.
Man, I could go on a lot this week, but I'll do two quick ones. One, super quick. My team at work and hitting their scores for all of you guys. Cheers. Thank you for bringing, once again, after one rough day, and holidays can always make things tricky. Valentine's Day surely did, especially with some people not showing up for their shifts. But after the rest of the week brought that number back to green for week, month, year. Awesome job. Cheers to you. And then Aiden, getting to watch this young, I want to call him a mini me, but he's definitely a super me, far from a mini me. Getting to watch him play his sport at this time, basketball, with his teammates, win the game. Your rebounds were on point. You scored 100% on your free throws. Cheers to you for living life. That is what life is all about. It's not always going to be easy, but when you get your moments, savor them. So cheers.
Those are great shout outs. Definitely. I only have one shout out this week, and that's going to go to my students this past weekend.
Hell yeah.
So for those of you who may or may not know, I do teach a life insurance course for new agents to prep them for the state exam, so that way they can get their license. And I've actually have really started to question our educational system just by some of the quality of younger people who have been coming to my class, which is a course meant for someone to pass a state exam to get licensed to sell insurance. And so you expect a certain level of an IQ, I guess,
of basic
understanding
abilities.
Yeah. And I've been very surprised by how poor the educational system, or how poor some of these people have been coming into the course. But this last class only had 4 students in there, but they are definitely on point. They're asking fantastic questions, and I think all 4 of them are going to pass their exam with flying colors. I really do. I think they're asking the right type of questions. And I don't know if you've ever been a trainer or taught someone and they ask questions, and the type of questions that they ask, if they're asking the right type of questions, like this person's going to do well. And when they're like totally off base, asking like the weird, like one-off type questions for everything, you're like, this person's gonna fail. You just after you've done it so many times, you have a pretty good idea of who's gonna like succeed and pass and who's not. And I feel really great about this class, so I want to give them a shout out.
Outstanding.
All right, get it togethers. I have no idea where to start or where to end, but I don't want this to be a 2-3 hour tirade of everything that's wrong with the world and our government.
Well, start where you need to start.
But I will start with Biden and FEMA. I think it's after the train wreck in Ohio, FEMA and Biden or the Biden administration said that they were not going to send any help out to them. They're in East Palestine, Ohio. And it took actually former President Trump to say he was going to go out there and visit this area. And then shortly thereafter, Biden or FEMA, one of them, I forget which one it was, announced that they were going to start helping out the area. The weird part is, before Trump even announced that he was going to go out there, and when Biden and FEMA said they weren't going to do any help, Biden announced that he's going to give more money or more support to Ukraine. And this is a huge national disaster.
Yeah, it's bigger than that. I'll go off on my own piece there because that's also mine.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll just sum it up right there. I just think the U.S. government giving money to Ukraine over our own nation, I think they need to get their act together. And one has to start now questioning with all the train wrecks, all the accidents that have been going on, and things like, are we seriously under attack either by our government, by corporations, or by some other country or group?
No, that's literally my get it together as well. So this chemical
Wait, that's really odd that you and I, we never talk about what our get-togethers or shout-outs are going to be. So when we have the same type of ones, I'm always amazed.
Well, here for me, it's slightly different, but it's also the same. And my bottom line is, and I actually didn't hear the piece about Trump. So cheers, Trump, for having a positive impact on another piece of our community, ultimately. But my struggle was FEMA and Biden's reaction and the chemical company saying, hey, so we had to evacuate all these people within a 15-mile plus radius of this spill, and we've potentially ruined your water source for, well, we don't know how long, but everyone's not using plastic bags in most of the country anymore because plastic's so bad, but that's the chemical that we poured out of this trailer into your future water source. But don't worry about that. But here's what we're offering you, just slightly over $20,000 so you can make this all go away. For a company that's making well over $20 billion a year in profits. And for me, and Trump is on both sides of this. So at some point he allowed legislature not to change because they could have changed the rail cars. But I love hearing that he had a positive impact in saying that, hey, I'm going to go do something. And that's what made both Biden and, let's face it, FEMA is controlled by Biden, just like it is any president. They don't take any action on their own, really. President is ultimately the one who nudges them one way or another. But the fact that Biden did nothing is my get it together. You should have jumped right up there. How dare you offer another nation across oceans, either direction, west or east of our own country, continent, support and everything else you're doing and offer our own citizens nothing. It's insanity.
We went to a
Reed's Tavern.
what he said, Reed's Tavern. They're in Lone Tree, right off of Park Meadows Drive.
Yes.
And for those of you who are University of Colorado Buffalo fans, this is just, I'm just going to start this off right away. This is a Nebraska bar. They have huge Nebraska flag hanging in there. And they also have like, here's, and this is very interesting, especially if you are a CU Buffalo fan or alumni or whatever. When you go into this place, you will see a flag for CSU. You'll see a flag for Nebraska, and you'll see a flag for basically all the other major sports teams except the University of Colorado. So right away, they already get a poor score from me.
Not their service or their food, but just their ambiance.
Anyways, when you first walk up, it is. I actually really dug the inside. I thought it looked kind of nice in there. It is a place that does have some indoor golfing, so they have some areas in there, so you can bring your clubs in there, and they have that video golfing in there, so you can like take swings, and you can play a course there. They also have, I think, was it 1 or 2 billiard tables there? They had
I saw at least one.
Yeah, I saw at least one billiard table there, and it seems like it'd be kind of like a nice little fun like sports pub there. They have TVs all around. You could definitely watch some games there. So I really dug the atmosphere. As far as the food is concerned, I actually went with the appetizers since it was happy hour. I tried the sliders. I got the shredded chicken slider and the pulled pork slider and some mozzarella sticks. Here I think these were kind of decent value. It's $5 for the sliders, $5 for 2 sliders really. So both of those cost $5, and then $4 for the mozzarella sticks. I thought for the happy hour pricing of those, it was decently priced. My one issue with the sliders is that the meat was dry. The chicken was dry, and it was very noticeable because they didn't really have any sauce on those. The pulled pork was also dry, but that was covered up a little bit by the barbecue sauce. The total win is the mozzarella sticks. The mozzarella sticks, I haven't had mozzarella sticks in a really long time, probably over like 2-3 years, but these were really good mozzarella sticks. So I'm going to give like the mozzarella sticks a really high remark there. I think they're great. And I could be wrong because, like I said, I haven't really tried a bunch of mozzarella sticks lately, but I really did enjoy them. I thought the marinara sauce was pretty decent as well. The service was actually pretty good. I actually liked the service. Our actual waitress, she was attentive. She showed up at the right time. She wasn't there too often, and she came around when we needed it. Her counterpart, or the other waitress that was working, she was a little bit like a hawk or something, because she was like Johnny on the spot. As soon as you finish something, she came by and swooped in and took your stuff. You're like, whoa, I just barely got done eating that, or woo, I just barely got done sipping that drink. It didn't really bother me, but she was kind of like the other waitress was Johnny on the spot. So I guess going with kind of sort of Jesse's kind of thing here, I guess this is like the middle of the road type of place. It's not a fast food place, but it's not fine dining either. In any case, I'm going to give this place a 7 for total for the whole kit and caboodle. I really dug the atmosphere. I'm kind of giving that an 8, just because I do like golf, and I do like the idea that you can like bring your clubs there and play the video type golf thing that they have, or the indoor golfing range, and have like beers and some food while you do that. So I really dug that part. I did not dock any points because it is a Nebraska bar. So I did hold back on that. The wait staff, I'm going to give them a 7. And the food, I'm going to give it a 6. So that averages out to a 7. And would I take a date there? Actually, I probably would, even though the food was not all that great, except for the mozzarella sticks. And here's the reason why. I think it could be a very fun activity on our first date to hit or play the indoor golf with the first date. So I think that could be a good time. So yeah, I could see myself doing a first date there. Would I meet some friends there? If my friends are into golf, sure, I can see doing that as well. But it's not really going to be a place I will go out of my way unless I'm going to the movie theater that's right next door, or I want to do play that indoor golf. So that's kind of my take there.
All right. Well, this one, unlike the Scotch, we're a little bit varied on. So Reed's Tavern, and by the way, no, very eloquently selected this, and it perfectly matches with director Peyton Reed of our Smarter Challenge review of Antman and the Wasp. We're there, man. But Quantomania, and with that, it was a great restaurant to review. It's interesting because on the outside, no real qualms with it. We did go in the evening. The sun is staying up a little bit later, so we didn't get to judge its nighttime ambiance, but I'm guessing it's okay because it is right by the theater. The atmosphere inside. This is interesting. We're visiting it on President's Day 2023, and it seemed really slow in there for me for a Monday. And it also seemed very low energy with that. Not a huge golf fan, definitely a big pool fan, but with only the one table that I saw, brings up some interesting things. So I think their happy hour was good. The beers, the prices, everything else. I did not. I asked the waitress, what's your most top selling item on the menu? She said fish and chips, and I went with it. And god damn it, I made a mistake. This was the worst fish and chips I reviewed on any of our shows. My food for the fish and chips, the fish was a 2 out of 10. Now, here's where it gets tricky. The chips were a 10 out of 10. The French fries were goddamn dynamite. So really you're talking about a 5.5 out of 10 with that. But the fish is supposed to be the focus. So I'm going to drop that to a 5 there. Now what Noah said is 100% right. He ordered a second round of his sliders, and the waitress screwed up and ordered a second round of mozzarella sticks. So we had her switch those from his tab to mine, and I took them. God damn it, those mozzarella sticks were a win for me. Again, both the marinara and the mozzarella sticks, a 10. The service was an 8. Those people were good. This is a middle of the range restaurant. It's not fast food. It is definitely far from high class, which is interesting because golfers want to consider themselves just that in most cases, not always. So it is interesting. Ah, man. The food, because of that, gets a 7. The service gets an 8. Myself, with the ambiance, I wasn't digging it, but I am so torn because I think part of that is because it's a Monday night and it's a holiday. Overall, the restaurant gets a 7 for me. Would I take a date there? There are so many other more fun places with varied menus than that. I don't know how to stress enough. And man, Reed's Tavern, if you hear this, your fish were a 2. If this is the best thing on your menu, you guys are confused because the French fries were far better. The mozzarella sticks were far better. And I'll bet I would have given the sliders a far higher score because I don't mind a little dry with a little sauce. But god damn it, this was the worst fish I've had, I'm going to say, in 10 years. So because of that, because of the risk factor, I'm not taking a date there. I'm not meeting friends there. No, I'm not going back. The fish, I showed you the fish. It wasn't even white inside. It wasn't even gray. It was like half black. It's fucking terrible.
You did show me the fish. The funny part, though, even though like we kind of scored everything slightly a bit different, we both end up at a 7.
I know, but that's just it. Because for me, it's a middle of the range restaurant, and I don't expect magic. And here's the thing: the fries were a 10. The mozzarella sticks were a 10. The service was great. Your fish was shit. Stop serving that fish.
So here's the thing, like for me, I definitely wouldn't mind going there to play golf and take a date there, but I would not order the fish.
Dude, the risk factor.
I would just stick, and I would tell her to stick with like fries or the mozzarella sticks or something like that.
Maybe that's it. You're like, hey, because the beer was good too. The service was good. The only reason it gets a 7 and not a 4 is the service and the sides, by the way, not the actual dishes. And but man, they're trying. I love that. So I'm not dinging them. I'm not saying don't go there. I'm just saying I'm not risk factor going there. But you bring up an interesting point. As I said, their goddamn cheese sticks and fries were dynamite. And if the waitress was a little slow on getting her tabs to get out, but if I was going to see a movie and I just wanted some mozzarella sticks and fries, yes. Whoever I was going with, I'd be like, let's get a beer, mozzarella sticks, fries. Hey, we're ordering this. Bring our check. Because everything else is perfect.
Smarter challenges.
Movie review. Antman and
The Wasp.
The Wasp. Quantomania. This is our Smarter Challenge here. This is I believe this is the third movie in the Ant-Man anthology. Or Spectrum?
Ant-Man and the Wasp, and now Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania.
All right, so I'm not exactly sure where we should start here, but I will start with this. I know you'll probably bring up the director. You already mentioned him once before. But I'm going to start off with this right here. We're just going to go completely off the rails, starting with something totally really different than what we normally would start on a movie review.
I'm not into that weird shit.
Where I want to start off with is, what is your favorite quote or series of like banter back and forth?
Oh my God,
in the movie.
went there. All right, so before I dive into that vaginal discharge, we are talking about the director of Antman and the Wasp, Quantomania, our 2023 2-hour and 5-minute PG-13 movie directed by Peyton Reed, who also did Ant-Man and the Wasp, as well as some episodes of The Mandalorian, starring, and here's some important piece to me, Paul Rudd plays Scott Lang. Evangelina Lee, Hope Devine. Catherine Newton, Casey Lang, so Paul Rudd's daughter. We got Michael Douglas, Michelle Pfeiffer, the list goes on. But the other big one is
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray is just cool as hell. But Jonathan Majors as King, the Conqueror. Now with this, man, there is one line that is so outrageous in this movie. For a PG-13 movie, I feel like we're safe to say it on the show.
Are you talking about the same quote that I'm talking about?
Dude, you know it. So I'm going to let you go with it, and then I'll just follow up, because favorite line, or like most outstanding line that proves a point, is where I want to go with it, is Catherine Newton. Yeah, dude, just go with it.
Okay.
I can't say it. It's so wrong.
It's so wrong.
It's
so wrong that it's
not
right.
It's okay because it's in a PG-13 movie and this word is said like 20 times. Not really. I think it's 7, 6. Maybe.
So it's like,
maybe it's 6, 5. There's probably 5 because they probably have some where like you can say it 5 times, but as soon as you go over half of a 10-fold, you're rated R.
All right. So, in this movie here, this character is MODOK, and MODOK, if you remember, the character here is actually from the original Ant-Man. He was the bad guy in the original Ant-Man, where he was like the bee, and Cassie, his daughter, refers to him as that's the bee guy.
That's the bee guy.
And so, any case, after I think Lang knocks him down into the ground or something. I think I'm not sure who knocks him down on the ground, but he's laying on the ground, and Cassie's running by him and stuff like that. And she says that he's a dick. She goes, "You're a dick," and he's like,
Catherine Newton's the actress, yeah. Yes,
Cassie. So, and then he looks at Cassie and he's like, "Look at me. Of course I'm a dick." and then she starts to run off, and then she like stops and turns back at him and says, "You don't have to be a dick."
Maybe the number is 4 because I think there's one more mention of the word.
I'm sure there's probably like 1 or 2 more dicks in there.
Dude, mentioning that because you might be just about out of the D word.
Dick, 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 dick.
Fuck, now we're rated R.
Anyways, she did it. I think that whole like bantering and back and forth between the two about her calling him a dick and then him saying like, "Well, I am a dick," but it does change him though when he realizes that he does not have to be a dick later on, and one can almost say that he's kind of like the dark horse hero of this movie.
How many dicks can you spit out of that hole? I'm just asking because you said a lot of the D word.
She wanted the D.
The Broncos, well, female fans do too. Denver.
All right.
So with that, how does one follow up with that? Well, I thought the movie was great.
I did too.
It was very entertaining. Now, that being said, it was by far my favorite Marvel movie, but I thought they did a really good job really emphasizing how you can be a savior of the world, aka Paul Rudd's character, Ant-Man, or Scott Lang, and still not be recognized by the general public. Hey, you're that spider guy. Coffee's on us. Here, take some scones, whatever. And then later on, they're like, oh, you're that ant guy, $12. What? Still save the world. Go take your
Funny.
stone.
That's funny that you mentioned that because I was going to bring that one up too.
But for me, some of the things are, when I asked people what they had thought before I saw it, a lot of them were like, the science was blurred with the reality. And I think that is my struggle as well, which is I believe other Marvel and even DC Universe movies have done a much better job making the science more believable. This one started trying to create a 3D interdimensional ring clock as being the source of all power, and that's just not truth. Had there been even a star in there, maybe it'd be a little more believable. But otherwise, hey, if you think that there's any chance of that, what do you think the chances are of our moon being hollow? So with that, I'm going to pass it back to you now. What else do you have to think about this movie?
Well, as far as this movie goes here, I do think it was entertaining. I thought Paul Rudd did an excellent job as his reprisal as Ant-Man or Scott Lang, and it's kind of weird because one of the parts I love about his character in this movie is he writes a book.
Oh, dude, I love that too, by the way. Holy Mother of Christ.
And the way he writes
called the Bible.
The way he writes his book and how he kind of depicts like what happens throughout this whole time with the Avengers and stuff like that. It's really kind of humorous because you've seen his character in the first movie and then all the Avenger movies and then in the second Ant-Man movie. And so you kind of see how he has progressed and stuff like that. And you see him like, kind of like that meme of like Leonardo DiCaprio where he's like walking and like he just doesn't care about anything because he's all happy. And this is kind of like Paul Rudd after he writes, he's like helped save the world.
He helped save the world, fools.
And he's famous. He's getting these like free coffees, and even though like people think he's like Spider-Man,
just someone who's supposed to be the lookalike of his creator.
But anyways, he's really on top of life, right? He has the woman of his dreams, right? Basically with I forget what her character.
Evangeline Lilly, who plays Hope.
Hope. Yeah. So he has Hope. He's married to Hope now. He's in with the Pims, right? As far as like part of the family. Cassie's all grown up, basically, and
dude, being in with Michael Douglas
and Michelle Pfeiffer.
Just saying.
And obviously, they that family seems to have a very good relationship with each other because even Cassie calls Michael Douglas' character and Michelle Pfeiffer's character as like grandpa and grandma and stuff like that. And so I think that part of the movie really kind of hits home. I think it's really great to see that kind of like that family unit being shown there, and him like being on top of the world. And then, like with anything in life, something will happen that will challenge a family unit. And here in this case, something does happen. They get sucked into the multiverse, or the quantum verse, I guess. And here you see the family, even though one member of the family may not have been totally truthful throughout the whole thing, or maybe might have left out some information. You see the family kind of come together to help others to save their realm, and also to help save each other as a family. And you really see what a strong partnership could be, I guess, in a sense, because near the end, this is spoiler alert right here, near the end.
Spoiler!
You do see Scott Lang knowing that it's more important to save Earth and his family, so he prevents Kang from going in, escaping the quantum realm to go to Earth. And when it looks like the portal is going to close, Hope jumps across to help save Scott.
Stupid ass.
And I think that's what I mean. I know it's a fictional movie and stuff like that, but I think that's something that everyone, if they would want to have a strong family unit, and also have a strong partner that would support you and you would support them. And I think in that sense, I think there's a really good kind of storyline there, even though maybe some of the science and some of the other things that orbit around in this movie is a little bit far-fetched or kind of funny or whatever. But I think that kind of message is good for everyone.
All right.
How about yourself? What?
Well, I'm digesting your message. Here's one of the points, though, that I would really want to point out. Casey Lang's character, played by Catherine Newton.
Cassie?
Cassie. Dude, she's a nightmare. She's a typical teenager, right?
Yeah, she is.
She is all into these things. You talked about truth and honesty, and I cannot stress enough, the older any individual gets that wants to be better and have a better culture and environment around them always has to be truth. Now, that means giving the hard facts and the soft facts, and then being like, hey, I know you don't want to hear this, Dad, but it's going to happen anyway, so I'm telling you this is the goddamn truth, Dad or Mom or boss or subordinate or whoever. By the way, if you don't meet this number, you're going to get fired. Whatever it may be, giving the hard truth is super important. And what I love about what you brought up about the fact that there are so many deceptions is that literally, guys, I cycled through my head while I was watching the movie, the second half in particular. The only person I don't think gave any deception was Paul Rudd's character. So Scott Lang, he's always telling the truth. And everyone thinks he's a piece of shit. He's just the Ant-Man. Your coffee's going to cost you $12 because you're not Spider-Man, you're Ant-Man. And literally, his father-in-law, his mother-in-law, his wife, his daughter, everyone else is around him is telling him falsities, not the truth. But he is always 100% honest. And I don't know that people understand the significance. I think that the original writer did. I think that he was really making that the greatest strength of so many superheroes, particularly Ant-Man. And that is, be honest, be true. And that is your win. And that is what, Scott Lang's win is. So Paul Rudd is a badass in this movie because he doesn't lie, because he knows. Even when he tells truths, you can see him pause and stall, but he still tells it. This is not okay.
You do bring up a good point there, and I did kind of gloss over that because they do. Like the Michelle Pfeiffer's character does do that.
Lie.
Michael Douglas' character does that. His own daughter did that.
Lie. Evangeline. Evangeline.
Yeah.
Hope. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
She did that as well. But
they
I do,
all fucking lie.
they all had like a bit of a lie, or maybe I wouldn't necessarily always call it a lie, but maybe some of them withheld the truth or didn't share some information.
Critical information.
Critical information, yes. But I do think they all realized the error of their ways throughout the movie, and I think you actually see it more with Cassie too, where she realizes like, yeah, I screwed up. I probably shouldn't have done these things. And I think one of kind of like the like a good like fatherly and here once again I don't have any children and I don't own any children.
Moms try to pretend they own children. Dads know better.
But I think one of the like, I mean, just looking from like my like in a reversal type of aspect of like what it was like, you know, as a kid to like what it would be like looking at a parent. I think one of the cool scenes in this movie, though, after like a lot of this crap goes down, both Cassie and Scott are in jail together, and she had previously been in jail like 2 times prior.
So this is the third time.
2 times prior, and you know, Scott had just recently found that out because that was information that was withheld from him previously. And when he's sitting in there, and he's like, and they're like, and their cells are like kind of like across from each other. He's like, "So this is your 3rd time in jail, huh? This is my 4th time."
Yes, but he's always honest.
But he's honest. But he took a road to where, I mean, he could have like.
Just been an asshole.
He could have been an asshole to his daughter, but he addressed it in a joking way, and he kind of like made it more light than what the situation was. And I think Cassie appreciated that. And I think I got the message to her a little bit better. And likewise, I think her message about helping out other people, because I think Scott, to your point, like what a hero should be, or what the writers say like a hero should be, Scott did kind of start to rest upon his laurels and wasn't really seeking out to help people anymore, or be that kind of like that shining beacon, until Cassie kind of like pushed the envelope a little bit too far, and he had to jump in.
I 100% agree. Particularly around what a hero should be. And we have people, and I hate to transgress, but I will for just 30 seconds, like Biden giving extra money to Ukraine, when we have people in Ohio with real drama in our own country, 15-mile, so 30-mile radius or circumference, if you will, or diameter, 15-mile radius, evacuated from the homes. And he's giving extra money to them. Meanwhile, they don't have safety in their own home. Going back to the movie, this is what a hero is. It's what Marvel was always supposed to be. It's what Stan Lee, may he rest in peace, was going after, which is a hero sacrifices. And that's tragic. It shouldn't have to be that way, but that is reality. And it's terrible. But a hero will sacrifice, because being a hero means you are giving a piece of yourself to save the bigger picture. And you can look at Thor, and you can look at any number of other superheroes and think that, well, Thor's still Thor. There is a piece of his heart that is torn or gone or diminished. And I will say torn because love has a dynamic impact, but you have to save it first. And I think that's what I loved about this movie, is the daughter learned way too early in life that life is not going to be easy.
Very true. I would definitely say this particular movie, it's probably not my top Marvel movie, but it's not even the worst Marvel movie either. I think they did enough to make it entertaining I think it did enough to portray a decent message, depending on how you want to view it. There's different types of perceptions or takes one could take in this movie, and we only talked a short period of time here about it, and I really do. I did enjoy this movie, and I do want to go see it again. And I think the one thing I didn't bring up yet is I think it really sets up for the second season of Loki. Because if any of you who've watched the first season of Loki, it all has to do. I forget the name of what they're called, and I didn't do my homework, so I apologize. So I'm just going to call them the Time Cops, because that's basically what they are.
They are.
And Loki had been apprehended by the Time Cops, and now he's like one of their agents who goes and tries to find people who violate the timelines and destroys timelines. And that's what Kang is he's someone who manipulates and destroys timelines. And so you can see how Kang is going to be the next big baddie here, and how it's going to actually intertwine with Loki's second season and him being a time cop, if you will.
You're 100% right, by the way. It's Loki and the Time Travel Cops. That's literally what they are. They're the Time Travel Cops. So you're good.
Is that what it's called?
Okay. They are the Time Travel Cops.
Okay.
People, yeah, we don't have to go there, but we don't have fucking time to go there.
We got a little bit more time because we took a little bit longer in some areas as far as like tasting and stuff.
But the regardless point is that you're right. This opened a huge door, and there's so much more coming out of this. Loki in particular, and oh my god, that actor. I'm not gay, but if I was, he'd be on the top of my.
So, did you like the
list.
female version of Loki? I thought she was pretty decent.
She was hot. Believe it.
So there you go. You don't have to be gay. You can like the female version of Loki.
Right. But the male version, this version, who is also mentioned, by the way, I think it's important. He actually acknowledged that modern music doesn't resound romanticism or romance. But he's bringing that. He's literally bringing romantic scenarios in this dark sense into Loki. And that's real. It's here's the tragedy. We all want romance, but so much of romance is tied to the dark. Oh, well, I just want sex. Bye. Psh. Well, that was romantic, and I want that again. But I also want a relationship, but he just wants sex, so I'm going to go get sex. Psh. Well, I'm in the same boat. Any way you look at it, it's real. And he's not wrong. Their music has struggled to romance.
All right. Well, would you recommend people to see this movie?
100%. Particularly because, man, Loki season 1, dynamite. Loki season 2 will undoubtedly be better.
Yes. Loki actually does not make an appearance for all of you who are watching this until actually the credits. But like I said, it will set up for a good season 2 of Loki. I do think this movie I would highly recommend watching this movie. Obviously, if you're into the MCU, you're going to watch it anyways, because it will play probably a bigger role moving forward with probably some of the Avenger movies, I would venture to guess.
Explain MCU. I know, you know, MCU.
What? Marvel Comic Universe?
Yes. So when he says MCU, Marvel Comic Universe, the Marvel Universe is what he's talking about.
Yeah, if you watch any of the Avenger movies, you're probably aware of those.
I hope so, but not everyone is. Dude, times have changed.
All right. With that, we'll wrap that up here at this point. I do think it's a good movie. You should go watch it. I believe Jesse feels the same. He's nodding his head yes, obviously, so we're good there.
It was great.
It was.
I loved it.
One other character I really liked is a little bubble character that you drink his like.
Dude, stop! Just he has no holes, but I drink his ooze, and now I can.
That was kind of funny.
No, it's like funny and not funny. It's like, what just happened.
Exactly. All right. So with that, thank you for everyone who watches us and listens to us on Rumble, YouTube, any one of the Audible venues here. Jesse, he will let us know what our next scotch is as well as our next topic, and then he'll close it out.
All right. Next week, to close out year 2 of Scotch Hour, we're going to go review the movie Cocaine Bear and Lagavulin Distillers Edition. So, with that, remember, drink responsibly. And life is great. Enjoy life. Share, appreciate, engage, and really just enjoy life. So, with that, Noah, back to you. By the way, give us feedback. We will use it.
That's it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Have a great night, everyone.
Wait a minute. Scotchman!
Cheers.
Cheers.
We hope you enjoyed this evening's episode of Scotch Hour. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you have not done so already, please become a Patron member, with memberships starting as low as $1 a month. Thank you, and hopefully you have a wonderful evening.